Welcome to the DJ Insider Podcast, sponsored by Amplified Events.
It's the only podcast where we break down insider information from our weddings, experiences, and advice from over 15 years in the wedding industry.
We're your hosts. I'm Mike Kane, owner of Amplified Events.
And I'm Chris Zart, general manager of Amplified Events.
Let's get into it.
Well, we're back.
We are.
It's been a few weeks. Apologize to everybody, our loyal listeners. We're like, what's going on? We haven't lost interest. We haven't lost heart.
Out of anyone at our company, I think we're working every weekend for sure.
We're just working every weekend. We had a bachelor party. We had some health stuff, people sick. And so, yeah, we're going to try to get back in the swing of things here. But can I catch you up on some weddings you guys missed we haven't talked about?
Mm-hmm.
What's the last one you remember that you...
Yeah, so I haven't had too many because I took a family vacation this past weekend, and then just the past 2-3 weeks ago, I was at White Oak in Michigan City, and that was a really great wedding. That was like probably the best one I've done this year, and maybe like in my top like 5 of all time. Like it was just like killer dance floor. That's a venue that can be a little hard because the weather, when it's so nice, everyone loves to be outside there. There's a beautiful spot to hang out. Yeah. They have like a water fountain. Sometimes they're doing pizzas and they're like wood fire ovens out there.
They have that garage door they open,
yeah,
which makes it real easy to go in and out, you know.
So the one thing though was it was so hot, and even beforehand, the bride and groom were both like, we're not doing a ceremony outside. They like changed it to inside. They're like, we hate the heat. Like, we want everyone to be comfortable. I'm like, thank you for doing this for me and also everyone else. And then as soon as we got going, everyone, that kind of happened. Everyone went outside. First hour of the dance floor, I just lost everyone. I was like, oh, man. And Cade was with me, and and he was like, oh, and I was like, no, it's going to be okay. I'm like, we'll get him back. Just give it like 20 minutes. And that was like, 20, 30 minutes. Everyone came back in and no one left. Like it was every person at that wedding on the dance floor. Yeah, that was the rest of the night from there to the end. One of the cooler moments was this lady came up to me and she's like, hey, the best man, can you make an announcement? He just got drafted into the NBA for the Denver Nuggets.
Oh my gosh.
So that was really cool. Like, I got on the mic and I was like, I make some noise for him. Yeah. Like, so yeah. That was really
super
sweet.
Cool. Was he like crazy tall?
Very tall. Yeah. Like I probably almost 7 foot. Yeah. Like,
wow.
Like really much taller than me. Like I'm like 6 foot and I was like, look like that, like handing him the mic, but, no, really good wedding. And then, a week or two later, I was at, Swan Lake in Plymouth. And then that's a venue I used to work at all the time. I haven't been there in a moment, but it's really good to get over there. I like the team over there. They're really solid to work with. And same thing, really killer night, just like a really fun wedding. Once we got to dance floor, it was just like everyone out there. And we, even older crowd, we had like oldies was like going off, like some ABBA, like Earth, Wind & Fire at the start. And then just like really fun, like rap and stuff at the end of the night. But some good pop punk too, but just my kind of crowd, my kind of music. But
nice.
Yeah, what about you?
I love that. Let's see. A few weeks ago, I was at County Line on a Friday. Just Rager, like they just love like rap music, and they were dancing hard. A lot of people from Florida going nuts, having a good time.
Nice.
It was funny because there was everything ceremony was perfect, smooth. Speeches, everything was good. We're lining up for introductions. The father bride pulls me aside. He's like, I have a surprise. I purchased literally a shackle and a ball and chain that I want to like handcuff the groom's leg and surprise him. And then, play a song or whatever and have him walk around with this, And I was like, I immediately looked up the contract. I was like, did he sign? Did he pay? Like, is he my customer? Because that just doesn't sound like something that's going to go well.
Right.
It's not going to go the way you think. But you never know. Sometimes those family traditions, whatever I've had all kinds of weird things. People wear an apron, or people have a bucket full of hot dogs, or just crazy things that are family traditions that can really bring out the party. And so I don't want to poo-poo that too quickly. But in my experience at weddings, it's best not to start it by saying, you're going to prison. Your marriage is like being in prison.
Marriage.
You have
the end of your life.
You have no personal freedoms now. Like that's a old corny joke, from yesteryears. That's a very Rodney Dangerfield. Take my wife, please.
Boomer humor.
Boomer humor. Yes. And it just doesn't go over well anymore, especially because it's kind of like, you don't have to get married.
Yeah,
it's
right.
not prison. And what message are you sending to like, your life is over, bud? Like, that's so terrible at somebody's wedding, So I checked with the bride and she's like, absolutely do not do that. She's like, we're not doing that at all. Thank you for telling me. And I was like, I thought so. I thought that's not a thing a surprise you'd want. So I'm really glad I checked.
Yep.
But I was worried that it was going to happen anyways. But yeah, and he never came up. And they must have went and talked to him and said, don't do that. We don't want to do that.
Yeah.
He thought it was really funny. I don't think anyone else would have really much.
Jokes and pranks, it can go well when you know the crowd. Yeah. You know this is going to work with this certain people. But that was just wasn't good taste, I guess.
Yeah. But other than that, it went really smoothly. Great party.
Good.
Great couple. Everyone was fun. Everyone's easy. Then this last week, I was at Walden on Friday. Beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. The way they decorated the venue, the flower, everything was awesome. Really chill. We just did cocktail hour and dinner dancing, all that. Super smooth. Couple was super nice. Good dance floor. It was hard to kind of get a good rhythm. There was just little pockets of they like these songs but not these songs, and they like these songs but not the other ones, and it was just hard to get good flow. But it was a good party. It's still good.
Yeah,
good folk. And then Saturday, I was back at County Line, and met with the bride. She's super kind, super sweet person. Ceremony was flawless, fantastic. Worked with an officiant. And I'd worked with her at the Allure on the Lake earlier this year, and she crushes it. Like, she's so polished and good and sweet, but she keeps it like 15 minutes or less for the ceremony, and it is all on the couple. She even like steps out to the side. Like, she knows how this works, and she's really good at it.
Right.
And I love working with people like that who are just boom, boom, boom. So it was perfect. We had live music for cocktail hour, which was awesome. Marco came out and played his thing. We had dinner on vinyl, which was fantastic.
Nice.
They picked some great albums, photo booth, all that good stuff. Everything is flying, going well. Bride's like, we really like older music, like oldies, like 70s, 80s is our niche. And I was like, great, that's what I love to mix personally. And so I opened up the dance floor and just started raging. I mean, banger after banger of like, was playing Madonna. I was doing Sister Sledge. I was doing Kool and the Gang, just a lot of like, I did some Queen, and it was just seamlessly mixed and just kept them dancing. Everybody's having a good time. They only had 2 must plays on their list, which I played both of those. They had a few other songs, which were like different stuff. And you could tell some of it the groom wanted, it was like Creed or Nickelback or that kind of stuff. And I thought, okay, great, sing-alongs later in the night. Then they had a few like, your Jimmy Eat World, Yellow Card, that kind of stuff. So this young person in the bridal party, I think he's the usher, came up to me and was like, hey, would love to hear Ocean Avenue by Yellow. I was like, yes, great song. It's on my list. I'm going to definitely play it. If you can wait just to the last hour. I was like, that's a perfect timing. This is a perfect last hour kind of song. He's like, oh, can you play it now? I was like, well, I'm not going to play older stuff now. Like, trust me, I'm going to definitely play it. Just wait a little bit, He's like, okay. Then the best man comes up, requests the same exact song. And I say the same exact thing to him. He's like, anybody you could play it sooner? I was like, I could try, but the problem is when you start playing that stuff, you're going to lose most of the crowd. Yeah. It's just going to be people who know that song, who grew up with that song, who know all the words and are singing along. But it's not really danceable, and you're going to lose a lot of the older crowd. He's like, okay. And then some other girl came up, and there was just a ton of requests, just young people requesting stuff left and right. It was like Shania Twain, and they wanted Give Me Everything by Neo and Pitbull. Then they wanted A Day to Remember, which is another kind of punk rock emo band or whatever. And it was just like that, just incessant. We had maybe like 30 requests. It was crazy. And I was doing my best to work them in, and there was some slow songs and fast songs. And then it was like 9:30. We've been dancing since 8:30. Great party. Everything's going well. And that usher comes back up, and he's like, what the F are you doing? He's like, nobody likes that, even though we had a full floor when he came up. He's like, nobody likes this music. Why are you, everybody's coming up to me saying that, like, you're not playing our request. You're not playing anything good. Like, you're ruining this wedding. And I go, hold on. First of all, the request I'm playing right now, I think your wife requested this song, Give Me Everything. And I was like, so that's just not true. I've been playing requests. I have a lot of requests. I've been playing the bride and groom's requests. I've been doing older stuff. And he's like, well, yeah, but Oceans Avenue. I was like, well, I'm going to play that. He's like, yeah, but not till the last hour. I was like, if it's that important to you, I'll play it next. He's like, you will? I was like, yes. So sure enough, I played it next. The floor immediately cleared. We lost most of the dancers, and we had about 10 young people, him and his friends, out there singing. I did a few more of those kind of songs. It was just so disrespectful and so rude and just in my face, threatening me. It was really a big turn off. It was really upsetting as a DJ to people come up and basically saying, you're bad at your job because you don't listen to me.
Right.
And I want to hear my song, and I don't care about anyone else here. But anyone else in the wedding.
It's weird the social barometer can just turn off when someone's at a wedding. I don't know what it is about like weddings or like big events like that, but like people are like, I'm not in the real world anymore. I can just treat people how I want. You know, I don't know.
It was just so rude. Yeah. And I like literally had told him I'm going to play the song and like explaining to him when and why, you know, and he didn't care. He didn't, you know, he just wanted to hear the song. So I did. And, you know, it went exactly how I thought. It kind of killed the energy for a long time. The bride came up. And super sweet. And she had heard kind of through everyone talk. She's like, I am so sorry. Like, that he should not have done that. Like, I'm really sorry. And like, you know, I was like, no, I was going to play it. Like, she's like, no, I told you, like, we trust you, do your thing. We like older stuff. Like, you were doing exactly what I wanted. And the party was going great. And then, you know, and I said, well, I was just waiting for that because older folk, people who don't know that song, who weren't raised with it, aren't going to dance to that song. Yeah. But the young people will stick around. There's free drinks. There's free food. They're not going anywhere. There's a photo booth. If they don't really want to dance and have fun to some of the older stuff, they can sit and chill. And then the last hour is going to be great because it's going to be just that. Right. You know, I would have done a full hour of that stuff. But then, so we were just doing that kind of thing where it was just pockets and, well, I'm going to play my song and do this, you know. And then I was playing some of their stuff, their creed, and nobody was dancing. They're all sitting at a table. And I was end of the night, and then someone came up who was dancing and wanted to hear Brown Eyed Girl, and so I played it. And they danced, but then somebody screamed, what the F are you doing from across the room? Because I cut Creed early. I'm like, sorry, bro. Like, you weren't out there dancing. You weren't singing. You're sitting at a table listening to the music. Right. How am I supposed to know that you're enjoying that song? There is no indication from my side of the turntables that you're liking this. So the cool part was the bride totally had her back. She tipped us. She was super kind and sweet.
That's nice.
Dude, she did this cool thing. So her sister got married in like January this year. And it was kind of, I think they did, what is it called? When you go away to get married really quickly.
Like destination wedding? Or
not destination.
Elope?
Elope. She eloped. So she didn't get a chance to dance with her dad. And the bride's sister was like, why don't I split it and surprise her?
Oh, cool.
So she did one Van Morrison song, Tupelo Honey, with her dad. And then halfway through, she had me fade it and just say, we have a very special surprise, you know. Basically, like the bride's sister got married in January, and she didn't get a chance to dance with her dad.
That's
so
cool.
The bride wanted to split this time so her younger sister could dance with her dad, too. And so then we played Days Like This, whatever.
That's like wedding days. Like, I know it's like, it's your wedding day. It's about you. It's like, it's also about your family and the closest people to you. Like, and when you can like really make that about like, you know, that just draws everyone closer together.
That's the kind of person she was. Just so really cool. Sweet and generous and kind and, you know, just thinking of other people.
Right.
So it really stinks that guy was so sour and kind of, you know, killed a lot of the energy in the night. But everything was great. It was a great wedding. People had a good time. People danced. It's just disappointing when people, you know, have a personal vendetta. I have to hear my song or I'm not going to have fun and I'm going to threaten and intimidate people until I hear my song.
Well, and it sucks that like, you know, out of like 100 good things, like the one, you know, the more I do this job, the less it gets to me. I think I just kind of shrug it off, but it's still like, it kind of bums you out leaving the night on that note.
Yeah. It's just incredibly selfish. What I want is more important than anyone else.
Yeah.
You know. And they just, you know, they don't have any information. Yeah, he's acted like everybody was coming up to him to complain. I was like, I don't think that's true. I think one or two people. And you guys all started talking. And then, you know, I'm going to do something about it.
I've had that where it's like, sometimes it is just one person. Usually it's one person who wants to be vocal. And then they're like with their two friends. And then they're all like, they go and like snicker. And like you can see them across the room like looking at you. Yeah. I'm like, okay.
I'm not stupid when one person comes up and requests it, and then I tell them that, and then another person comes. They just sent another person to request it. Like, I'm not dumb. Like, what are the chances, you know? The same exact song?
Yeah, I've had that where it's like they send like, you know,
I think they
partner or
thought that,
something like that.
with the popularity of the request, I would have to do it sooner.
Right.
But how many people request it doesn't change that it's not a good time to play it.
And that's something we've explained a lot of, like, yes, it's a good song, but it could be a great song played at the right time.
Yes.
And that's so important.
We're about creating moments as DJs, and we know how to make a moment land and just to let it happen.
Yeah. You weren't trying to play that song later because you disliked them.
No.
You were trying to play it
I
later.
told him I would play it.
Yeah.
Generally, I won't tell you if I'm playing it or not if
Right.
I'm not sure if I'm going to play it, I'll just like, okay, I just wrote it down. All right, we'll see if we can get to it.
And I've had people, it is great when people do understand. I've had people that I've explained that to. They're like, Mr. Brightside. And we're like 30 minutes into the dance floor. I'm like, great song. Wait, though. Like this, wait until the end of the night. And some people are like, oh, yeah, you're right. They kind of realize it. It's great when that's the case.
Yeah.
Like you can kind of like explain to them, I try and not go into too much detail because there's no point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. And it just like you could be doing everything right. Like that was I had a wedding recently, and this woman came up, requested the song. The bride and groom gave me so much music for the day, so I was mainly sticking to their list. I really didn't get in that many requests. I was kind of like prioritizing if one of the bridal party members came up,
sure,
I was gonna play their song. Any other guest, like I was kind of, if it wasn't like really in the vibe, I wasn't gonna play it. So it was like a Ricky Martin song, it wasn't bad, but I just like couldn't find a time to work it in.
Sure.
Kind of forgot about it, not purposefully, just slipped my mind. This woman who asked for it was out in the dance floor the whole night, like dancing to everything I was doing. She was having a great time. And then like last hour, and one of the things that the bride specifically said was, I don't like too many party songs played too late in the night. Like I like, I want the younger crowd to be able to, not too early, but like, let's do it kind of in the middle.
Sure.
Once we get to that last hour, there was a lot of like, pop punk and good like rock songs, sing-alongs. But she's like, I don't want to be, dancing super, super hard at the end of the night.
Sure.
Like so that was kind of my mentality. We got to like, last 45 minutes, I was kind of done with all that. I just stuck with, so that, this lady comes up, you didn't play my song. Like immediately like really offended. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm like, I have a huge list here. I'm like, what was your song? I couldn't even remember at this point. She told me, I'm like, okay. I'm like, I didn't mean to not play it. I'm like, but this is the point in the night that we're at now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't fit it in, and then she's behind me and just doesn't go anywhere. And I'm like, okay. And then I keep looking at her, and she's there for like a few minutes, just not saying anything. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do here. And then finally she's like, you made me sad. And I was like, like, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to disappoint you. And
how old was this person, do you think?
I like late 40s, early 50s.
Okay, so
probably.
a grown adult. Okay.
Yeah, grown adult. You made me sad, and I was like, I'm really sorry. And I had a long song playing. It was like Don't Stop Believing or something, 4 minutes. So I turned around, I'm like, hey, listen. I'm like, I'm really sorry. I didn't intentionally not play your song because I didn't want to play it or there's anything about you. I just like, gave her a whole explanation about like why I'm doing it, hoping I could get through a little bit.
Yeah.
And she's like, F you, and then walks by and then tries to rip the cables out of my speaker.
What?
But they're all locked.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. They have. That's because of that. If you trip
the
and
one
fall.
is the power cable doesn't have a lock. So if she actually would have done that one, but she did every other cable.
Oh my gosh.
And then like, almost fell over after trying to do it because it's locked. And she thought that, they were going to come out. And then like turns around and gives me a look and then keeps walking. Talks to her friend, and then they leave immediately.
Dude, that is a one-way ticket to getting kicked out. You do that at my
night.
You do that at my wedding, I'm getting you booted.
Yeah, that was kind of my mentality. Was we had at that point like 30 minutes left. I'm like, the night's almost over. I'm like, I don't want to cause a scene. You never know like how this person's gonna react then if I were to get security. So I was like,
if she's already walking out the door, just let her keep going.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm waiting for another situation. If it happens, I'll get somebody. But I'm like, at this point, I just want, it's been a good night. I want to get out of here. I don't want anybody to be in trouble. No one's in trouble at all. It's just,
The gall on that person.
It's crazy.
The immaturity. I mean, it's crazy. You made me sad.
It was,
and she wanted
alcohol induced.
Of course,
to be fair,
of course.
But, still.
That's still not a way that's acceptable to act in public to a stranger. And you're a grown person. Like you were not responsible for her feelings. You're responsible for a great dance party, and you're doing the best you can with that.
Yep.
There's a lot of factors that are out of our control. And sometimes couples give us a lot of music, and they give us a specific vision that they want. And we want to make our best to make that happen. And the guests don't always know that. And that's what we're being paid to do, is to make the bride and groom's vision come to life and have a good time, and using our experience to throw a great party. And and people, hear my song, I'm sad. And you've ruined my life. Like, I'm like, really? It's a song. You could probably go listen to that on your phone right now.
Yep. You
could listen to it on the way home in your car. There's a lot of times you've heard the song before. Like,
yes.
Really?
I do love that my assistant, Dave, who just started working with us, every time he's worked with me so far, there's been some extreme thing that's happened now where he's kind of like, does this happen a lot? I'm like, not really. I'm like, you're really seeing all
a few times it happens.
He's seen like sweaty, completely shirtless groomsmen.
Oh yeah.
And he was like, is this every wedding? I'm like, no, this is not every wedding.
Thank goodness.
And then now he was like, did she really try to just pull the cables out of your speaker? I'm like, Dave,
she's
she
very
did.
very petty, very immature. Yes, that's right. She's trying to damage the rest of the wedding for everyone else.
Yep.
She's trying to ruin the night.
Oh, there was.
Because she didn't get her song, her Ricky Martin song.
One of the best parts of the night, though, was one of my favorite shows is Eastbound and Down, Danny McBride. Are you familiar at all?
Yeah. The baseball player?
Yes. There was this guy at the wedding who looked exactly like Kenny Powers. He had like the sports sunglasses, like huge mullet.
Yes.
Like kind of like the Fu Manchu, kind of like mustache, like right here. And then really big, like built dude, like just, and I went up to him. I'm like, I just need to tell you this. I'm like, I don't mean this as an insult at all. It's a compliment.
It's really cool.
And I showed him a picture of Kenny Powers, and he's like, yeah. And then later he like came up and just stood next to me, and he's like this like towering huge dude. And I was like, how's it going? He's like, oh, I don't want anything. I just want to hang.
I would have totally got a picture with that guy.
I should have. Yeah.
I love that.
But I'm like, do you want to hear a song or something? He's like, no. He's like, I just want to hang out for a sec.
I'm cool with that.
And I was like, okay. And he just stood next to me. He watched me mix. He was like, and I did like a really good mix. He's like, oh yeah. He's like, that's cool. And then he just walked away and then got back on the dance floor. I'm like, this guy, like normally I'm kind of like stayed out of my space.
Yes.
But he was just like, I'm just kind of curious about what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
It's my work area. I'm trying to mix music and keep an eye on the dance floor, And
I had no problem with that though. That was like, I'm like, yeah, you're cool. That's
Generally,
great.
I don't want people chilling in my area,
Yep.
I
But
saw
it wasn't too close, kept it was good.
And he declared his intentions.
Yes, exactly.
Some people like to watch you do. They like to see how the
it's cool.
how the magic happens.
What all those buttons do.
Yeah. Look at this guy go. Yeah, some people are curious and they like it. I saw this photo. I follow all these like DJ. I'm a part of these like groups and memes and this. They had a photo of a DJ. It's like clearly at a club, but there's a sign that he had printed, like a nice sign that basically has like it's basically like pricing for different things, but it has to do with your interaction with the DJ, and it's like. You want a song request, it's $10. Your song played next, it's $20. If you want your phone charged, it's $20. If you want a lesson about DJing, it's $100 an hour. Like, because people are like, how do you do it? They want to teach me how to do this, even though you're literally trying to throw a part. It's not the time to teach. But I just love that he had like. Nope, these are all the things, and the sign is basically like, "Leave me alone, go away."
Right.
I'm working in my work area. I thought it was funny and clever. Only DJs can relate to that kind of thing, but imagine like everybody has that. If you would like a drink refill, this is what the cost is.
I like that.
You want extra fries, So, but yeah, I don't have too much else. It's about to gear up, man.
I was about to say, this is like, we only got one event this weekend. I'm just working myself. But after that, it's going to be right back into it.
Yeah, we're about, I was looking it up. We're not quite yet halfway through our season with the amount of weddings we've got booked. So we're not quite halfway through. So that means September, October, November are going to be busy.
Yeah.
And August. So
good.
I think there's going to be some good stories, some good times.
Absolutely.
One of our DJs getting married in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Jeff.
I'm doing his wedding.
So that's going to be pretty epic, I think.
I'm very excited for that. I like doing friends' weddings.
Have they done anything? And I know they have, but I just want to ask you, that you're like, this is how you should do it.
Yeah. I mean, there's just a few things I like. First of all, the ring bearer is their dog. Yeah. Bernie, yeah, that'll be super cute. I think they have like a tux for him and everything. Like that'll be amazing. He wants a lot of uplights, which I'm really excited.
Yes.
Like in that venue, it's gonna look so great. And I'm gonna like alternate because with the IR remote, I can like do different. I can alternate the color.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do like orange, pink, and just like 32 uplights around.
I love
the room.
it.
So that'll look great. Trying to think of what else. I'm really happy that they give me like so much full control over dance floor. Like they're like, we are the only ones that can make requests. They're like, other than that, like
nobody's.
They're like,
yeah.
you do your thing, we trust you. And they gave me like a big playlist of stuff. But like, yeah, it's and I think there's a good mix of like they like some oldies, but they like pretty normal wedding stuff too. So it'll be easy for me to like just do my thing. I'm trying to think of what else.
I love he was telling me his ceremony music. It's instrumental.
Yes.
But it's like a lot of songs that are like they think are funny, that have memories to them as a couple, or that are inside joke that certain people will get and certain other ones won't.
But they're all instrumental, like classical versions. So it's like you'll kind of have to like listen and be like, oh yeah,
this
song.
Is the thong song.
Yes, yes. There's a few of them that are like that. It's really funny.
It's a nice arrangement of the thong song. Yeah.
Yes.
But to me, like that's how you do a wedding. Like you have fun memories. You give the whole wedding will feel like them. They've stayed really true to that. But to me, the coolest thing that I was hearing too is that like he knows what it's like being on the other end of it. So they've been super easy to work with. You said you sat down, everything was already filled out, like all their songs, all their details. All their
we just when we met, we were just kind of like part of it was wedding me, and then we just started hanging out.
Yeah,
like it was just
going
easy.
over stuff, and I love that.
Yeah, because he just did the whole app himself. He's like, I already know what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah,
and they organized the timeline exactly how I'd want it to be. You know, because he was going through and he's like, I know this is annoying for you, so we're doing it this way.
That's it.
And I'm like, thank you, Jeff.
Just do a ton of lights. Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, timeline. Everything is
photo booth, no printing.
Just, yes. Yeah. The way they structure their timeline is everything is just like mad race to get to dance floor as fast as possible, which is like how it should be. If you know you're gonna have a good party, like dancing crowd. This is what I like about the younger generation is I think they're dropping like so many traditions and stuff because I think if you really think about it, you know, obviously weddings, it's been, you know, thousands of years now people have been having weddings, but Americanized wedding culture, it's pretty new, like the way that we do things. And I know there's other cultures that do it very similar to us, but I think for a while everyone was like, well, you got to do it this way because everyone does it this way. And then now at this point, it's like, well, it's our wedding. Like we don't have to do a bouquet toss. Right. We don't have to do. So yeah, it's like people are kind of dropping stuff. It is funny to see parents' reactions sometimes if they're like, you're not going to do the garter toss?
Why aren't we doing a dollar dance? This is a wedding. Yeah.
Shoe game? No shoe game? Really? But yeah, I just did the shoe game for the first time in 5 years.
Wow.
This past,
I haven't done it in a long time.
Yeah, it actually was pretty funny.
It can be, especially if they come up with stuff for them. Like,
I tried to like be a little more comedic than just asking questions, which I think helps. Like, I think having a good host for those types of games makes the game a lot. Because like it's funny watching the couple do something funny, but like having someone like who's solid at emceeing who can like, you know, poke fun or whatever. So like the first question I asked was like, okay, practice. Like whose name is, and I just said like the groom's first name. And like he did the bride's shoe. I'm like, you're already off to a really bad start. Like this is like, that was like, you got to just know your own name. And I thought he was being like sarcastic. I think he like actually like, he was like, oh, wrong shoe or whatever. It's like, this is already starting very rough. But yeah, no, I think people are realizing it's just like, I can do it my way. Yeah,
they should. That's the best weddings. The couple has this calmness because they planned it all. They're just going to enjoy and have fun.
Yeah,
they're all in, and they've made the day kind of feel like them. This stuff doesn't make sense to us. It's not who we are. Let's cut it. This other stuff we really like. Let's flourish it in.
Yeah,
in a fun way that it's, you know. And artists or songs you don't typically hear at weddings, you know, that kind of thing. I really enjoy that. I got one coming up. I talked to a bride last night. Dunes Pavilion. It's like one of my favorite venues to DJ at. They're like, yeah, we just want like basically a cocktail hour extended. There's just going to be food stations. People go up and get food. And then it's just going to be party, like dance floor part. Like,
so is that like cocktail and dinner?
There's no intros. There's no bouquet. They're doing a thank you speech, a first dance, and then maybe parent dances. I don't know. But it's going to be just party. Like the whole thing is going to be.
I think I remember talking to this couple.
Oh, they're super cool. Like, really cool. My gosh. Like it's going to be a really fun night.
Yeah.
And they're going to just let me do my thing. Like, here's a few songs, but just do your thing. You kind of know what the energy we're going for. You kind of know the stuff we like.
Yeah.
Throw a great party for us. And I'm like, yes, challenge accepted. I know what I'm doing, you know?
Yep.
But it's tough when it's like, yeah, let's do this other thing. And then let's do another thing. And then let's do another thing. And it just breaks up the flow of the night. And it kills a lot of the energy for dancing. There's no speeches. Like, it's just thank you. They're like, if anybody comes and gives you a speech, they are not approved. Do not give them the mic. I was like, not a problem. So.
That's like, I'm excited for, this sounds similar for my brother-in-law's wedding that's coming up soon, which is like a wedding that I get to go to as a guest, which I'm very excited. And then my buddy John is going to be DJing it, which I'm very excited for. But they're setting up like everything is just kind of like stations for food, like similar thing. But it's they're getting married like in a botanical garden.
Oh,
and
perfect.
it's like split into all these different sections. So they just have food scattered around. So you like have to walk around the room to like find whatever food. They have the photo booth and like within like the plants and everything, which is super cool. I even think we need a backdrop because the whole backdrop is just like floral everything. But yeah, that'll be really cool. And
it's gonna look beautiful.
Still like a normal wedding day. I think they're gonna do some, first dance stuff like that.
Stuff.
But yeah, I think they just want to have like a chill party and it's just good dance floor. But I'm excited for that.
I love it. That's what I'm here for. That's what I want to be doing.
Yeah.
So, very cool. Well, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. I
Yeah,
want to finish. This is just a funny thing.
Yeah.
She was telling me, she's like, hey, I want to have like, I have certain guests I'm bringing, but I have a feeling like there's a few people that might bring like uninvited children to the wedding. So she's like, I have a playlist of music that is like wildly inappropriate to play like in the background.
Let's receive these children.
But then we were kind of like, but there are children that are invited to this wedding. And then she's like, oh yeah. Yeah, that's right. It's like maybe not like that. There are people that are invited that are children that will be now traumatized. Yeah, but I just thought that was funny.
We could do a whole podcast on kids or no kids at weddings and like advantages and disadvantages, just what we've seen. But that's for another future thing.
Yeah,
but I like that. That's really funny. Like they're uninvited. They weren't supposed to be here. Bounce them. Just play them out in some nasty song.
Like, why did you bring your kid to this radar movie? Like, this was like not a good decision.
X-rated content on the over the microphone going on. So wild.
Good stuff.
Yeah, good stuff. Okay, good weddings coming up. Good things. We will see you at the wedding. I'm Mike.
I'm Chris.
And yeah, thanks guys for listening. We'll talk to you next time.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.